You are now tuned into the network, the YouTube channel that takes complex networking topics and dumbs them down in more simple language. Today's topic is configure and verify IP SLA, specifically ICMP. This is a topic in the CCNP route exam. It'll be known as CCNP Enterprise exam come February 24th, 2020. So after that, it'll be known as, again, CCNP Enterprise. Let's go ahead and take a look at the exam blueprint and see where we came from and where we are headed. Hashtag labeveryday. Don't forget to hit that like button. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. That'll let you know when I upload these videos. This is the exam blueprint, implementing Cisco IP routing, exam code 300-101. Anyway, we just wrapped up the section, describe SLA architecture. We just briefly described what SLA is. Today, we're going to configure and verify it, but specifically ICMP. After that, we'll move on to tracking objects. So what was IP SLA? Well, we said SLA was service level agreement, right? It was basically promising somebody, hey, this is the type of service I'm going to give you. IP SLA is, we're saying basically, this is the type of IP services that I'm expecting, right? Well, there's different types of IP services, right? We are going to specifically set up ICMP. So we're going to be sending, and you know what ICMP is, right? ICMP is basically ping. Ping is basically sending a message or like a packet and then expecting it to come back, a reply, right? So it's just like a radar. We send a message, boom, and then it comes right back to us, right? And we're measuring the time of how long it takes to come back. If it doesn't come back at a certain time, then then that's our threshold. That's our expectation when we set a service level agreement. Let's head over to the slides for the official definition. ICMP SLA. The ICMP is one of the main protocols of an IP suite. It is mainly used by, let's skip all of this first bullet point right here. ICMP is ping. Y'all know I like to keep it simple. The second bullet point, IP SLA ICMP echo operation is to monitor the end-to-end response time in between routers and devices by using IPv4 and IPv6. Simply put, you look at this topology right here. We got this router, sends him a ping, right? That's the destination IP device. We're expecting the echo reply to come back. And basically, we measure how long it took to get there and come back. And then we set a service level agreement, right? Did it take, 50 seconds to come back? Did it take 30 seconds to come back? Did it take 20 milliseconds to come back? Whatever our agreement is, that is our threshold. It could be because we're monitoring for a specific company, or it could be just an internal agreement, internal SLA, that's our expectations that we could have set for ourselves, right? The ICMP echo is most useful for troubleshooting the network connectivity issues. So basically ping, that's basically what ping does. But at that, we're going to set ping with an SLA. So that way, if it comes back at a certain time, and if it took too long, then we'll either get an SNMP trap, or we're just measuring. We're just going to be constantly sending pings and measure how long it took. If we see it takes longer than expected, then it did not meet our SLA agreement. How do we configure it? I ain't going to say it's real simple. I'm not going to say that because it's really flexible on what you can do. Just to get into the mode, it's real simple though. This we know how to do, right? We go to enable mode or privilege exec, go to global config mode with configuration terminal, and then we type in IP SLA monitor. I believe some iOSs, you just type in IP SLA and then the number. But in this case, the iOS version that I'm going to be using, it's IP SLA monitor, and then you create a monitor number. So the example below right here, IP SLA monitor 6 or 5 or 20, whatever the case may be. Once you do that, you are going to be in IP SLA operation mode, right? Or config mode, rather. From there, you can set so many parameters. You can choose what type. You don't have to necessarily pick ICMP. You can measure VoIP packets. You can measure jitter, loss, delay, all of that stuff, right? But obviously for this exam, we're going to set up ICMP echo messages and measure how long it took and stuff like that. We could change the size of the packet. We could change how often we send a ping message, and so on and so forth. That's just like extended ping. If you just type in ping and then it asks you a set of questions, you'll get a wizard. It'll ask you a set of questions on what you want to do to customize your ping packets, right? This is kind of the same way, but we're just doing it for SLA purposes. So in this case, once you're in the IP SLA configuration mode, you type in ICMP echo, the destination, who are you sending these packets to, right? In this case, it says source, but it's really, you do the destination first. Then you could change the source and then move on from there. And then it'll just ask you so many questions. We can't obviously cover them all, but this is what we'll do for the exam, we have to do ICMP. Step 5 is you could choose how often you send it. In this case, we're sending it, you just type in the keyword frequency. In this case, we're sending it every 300 seconds. We're sending a ping packet. And that's what we're doing here. That's the rate of which the specified IP SLA operation repeats. This is optional, obviously. You get out of it, just type in end. I believe you could also do exit. Here's some show commands. Show IP SLA monitor configuration. That shows you how you set up your IP SLA. And then you can do statistics to see basically if your SLA messages are failing. You also have to set a responder. You don't have to, but if you want it to work, you have to set a responder. So like when we look at this right here, we're doing the IP SLA configuration on this device. We would have to set this device as a responder, or actually it may be just this device as a responder. So somebody got to be a responder to let us know that the ping packets are actually responding. But anyways, that way we can get our statistics. Let's go ahead and fire up GNS3. Y'all know what it is when y'all see this little girl. Y'all can visit GNS3Vault.com to get this lab as well. I'll leave a link in the description below so that way you can practice as well. And also he does his own video solutions as well if you want to follow his channel as well as on the website. Also shout out to networklessons.com. I get a lot of information and tutorials on that website. All right, so here's the lab we're going to be working with today. We got router lettuce over here, cucumber, tomato, and pickle, right? They are sitting in a 192.168.13 network, 12 network, 24 network, and 34 network. We're going to be setting up IP SLA, ICMP SLA on all of these guys. I believe we're going to also be doing DNS, HTTP, which some of this stuff was kind of out of scope. Let's go ahead and fire these bad boys up. I believe, are already consoled into them. Let me just refresh them real quick. Reconnect on all these bad boys. Sorry for the bad continuity. I know y'all noticed I got another shirt. I had to take the girl out for a little date night tonight. She wouldn't let me go finish my video. So anyway, we've got 7 steps here, and let's go ahead and get right to it. So step 1 says configure router lettuce, which is this guy right here, to send ICMP echo packets to IP address 4.4.4.4 every 9 seconds. It should never stop. So lettuce is going to be sending packets to 4.4, which I believe is this guy. Let's see if it's tomato. Enable show IP interface brief. Yes. So he's going to be sending ping packets to this guy, and then he'll be measuring them to see how long it takes. But he'll be sending them. He needs to send them every 9 seconds, and it should never stop. So we're consoled into lettuce right now, and let's go ahead and do that. The basics configuration for IP SLA, we said, is IP SLA monitor, and then you choose the operation number. That is how you set it up, basically. So we're in global config mode, and again, it is IP SLA monitor. And as you can see right there, we can set up a whole bunch of stuff. We can set it up as a responder. But right now we are going to do the entry number, which we'll just do. This is entry number 1. So this is step 1, right? Now, as you notice, we are in SLA monitor config mode, right? So he says we need to send ICMP echo packets to the address 4.4.4.4. So what are our options here? Well, we have type of entry. When you do context sensitive help, it says here you can exit or do type. So we'll just do type. What else we have after that? We can send DNS packets, DNS query packets. We can do frame relay. We can do echo, FTP, HTTP. Which one do you think would be ping? Well, we don't see ICMP in here, right? So we're going to go ahead and do echo, since that sounds like the closest thing to it, right? So we'll say echo. What else does he say here? Protocol, context sensitive help says IP, ICMP echo. That sounds like what we want to do right there, right? So IP, ICMP, we'll just tab it out. What's the host name? We said it was 4.4.4.4. Context sensitive help says, what's the source address? Well, they didn't say we wanted to do a source address or source interface. So we may just leave that blank right there. And could we just enter there? I believe we could just enter. Notice now we are in SLA monitor echo mode. What did they say after that? We could do, let's just do, check the context sensitive help. We have a whole bunch of options here, right? Well, the only thing we didn't do was the every 9 seconds part, and that it should never stop. So what do we see here? We want to do frequency. The frequency of the operation was what? We type in frequency. It says here in seconds. How many seconds? We said 9 seconds. We just push enter there because we see a carriage return, right? Per the context sensitive help. After that, it says it should never stop. What do we see here? Can we do anything about never stop? Well, we do see live of history kept, maximum number of history lives to collect. What do you think this is? Super Mario?
No.
No, that's not what we want to do here. But you know what? I'll just tell y'all right now. To do the life of an SLA, you got to get out of this SLA configuration mode. You just got to go to regular global config mode. So we're going to exit out of this. Now we're in global config mode. And we're going to say IP SLA, right? We do monitor. We question mark. And as you can see right there, schedule is right there. It is. So schedule is what we want right there. So we type in schedule. What's the schedule? Well, it's asking us for the entry number. Well, we created SLA monitor number 1. That's what we need to do. So we'll do 1 right here. Then it says here, we could do age out, which is how long to keep this entry when it's inactive. That's not what we wanted. The length of time we want to execute in seconds. That sounds like it right there. Reoccurring, probe to be scheduled automatically every day. We didn't say anything about that. And the start time. That sounds like it too. So let's start off with the start time. Let's go ahead and, well, he didn't say when to start. So let's just go ahead and imply that he wants us to start now by doing just the keyword now. After that, how long to keep this entry? He didn't say that. Length of time? That sounds like it. Reoccurring? That don't really sound like it. He said it should never stop. So let's go ahead with life, question mark. And as you can see right there, the life in seconds? No, he said it should never stop. So forever is the keyword we want to use there, right? So I'm just going to paste that there. Hit enter. That is going to be the schedule. We can check our configuration with show IP SLA monitor, and its configuration is how we can check it, right? We do that and we can see, let me widen that up for y'all. This is the configuration for entry number 1. We didn't specify an owner or a tag. We said it's an echo, which what's an echo? It's just ping, really. We send an echo packet to this destination device and come right back. That's all it is. An ICMP echo operation is to monitor the end-to-end response time in between router and devices by using IPv4 and IPv6. In this case, it's IPv4. The echo is most useful for troubleshooting the network connectivity issue. Ping, that's all it is. That's all it is. It's ping. What else we got here? We said the target address was 4.4. That's what we said. Didn't do any verified data. We said every 9 seconds is when we want to send it. So we got a bunch of other stuff here. We didn't really specify. We just left everything else as default. So we'll leave it as is. That was step 1, right? Step 2, configure router Cucumber. Let's go into Cucumber right here. To send DNS request packets to IP address quad 1 every 8 seconds. It should never stop. Quad 1, I believe, is lettuce. Let me verify that though. Lettuce is quad 1. So we're going to configure router Cucumber to send DNS packets to lettuce every 8 seconds, and that it should never stop. So this sounds really similar as the other one, except now we're doing DNS request packets. So we're going to go into Cucumber. We're going to go to global config mode, and we said to do that was IP SLA monitor. We're going to say monitor number 2, right? Because this is the step number 2. We're in, again, SLA monitor config mode. What do we want to do? We said we want to send DNS request packets. Context sensitive help says we want to type. What type we want to do? DNS, right? There it is right there. DNS. We'll paste that into that bad boy. Target address was what? We said the target address was quad 1. So 1.1.1.1. What was the name server? We'll just do name server like that. The host name, we didn't really say, so we'll just say quad 1. Source, we really didn't want to specify. We don't really want to specify one. We'll just leave it as is. Notice we are in SLA monitor DNS config mode. There's so many sub configuration modes. There's just so many ways to configure things. Anyways, what does the context sensitive help says we need to set up? Well, we already set up DNS request packets. We said quad 1. We need to do every 8 seconds. How do we do that? Again, it's frequency. So we say frequency, what? 8. Let's go ahead and do a, minimum frequency should be 9. So that's a weird one right there. Interesting. You know what? I went ahead and checked Renee's video solution. He just went ahead and skipped that part and just put a 9 there. So y'all don't be afraid. Again, you visit gns3volt.com. This is where you can get this lab. Renee Molnar also has the video solutions on there, so you can check out his website for it. Or you could just do a search on YouTube and you'll see his solutions as well. He went ahead and put a 9 there. So frequency is 9. And it should never stop. We'll just go ahead and do a timeout 0 as well, so it doesn't time out. And we'll say, we said it'll never stop, right? So we're going to get out of this. We're going to go to IP SLA, monitor, schedule. And the schedule was for monitor number 2. While we're on monitor 2, now we could do start time, now, life, forever. Okay, so I believe that should be it for number 2. Step 3, configure router pickle, which is this guy right here, to send G711 packets. If you don't know, that's pretty much like VoIP packets or like quality of service type of packets, to IP address 2.2.2, which I believe was Cucumber. Let's see. Actually, let's do this. Let's verify his what we just did right there. Show IP SLA monitor configuration, and there it is right there. Right? So monitor 2, what we just created right there, entry number 2, there is no owner or tag, DNS, the target address was quad 1, source is quad 2, we didn't specify a port number, we said every 9 seconds, even though Renee asked for every 8 seconds. Start time already passed because we said now, right? Life is forever. Don't you wish we could live forever? We didn't specify everything else. We left everything else as default. So that was set up for that. Again, question 3 says to send G711 packets to IP quad 2, which I believe is Cucumber, port 16384 with a codec size of 160 bytes with an interval of 20 milliseconds. It should never stop. So we need to go to Pickle, and there's Pickle right there, and he's going to be sending those packets. There's G711 packets to this guy right there, right? And then test pretty much the SLA for it, right? So we're gonna go into Pickle right now. We're gonna go to global config mode. Again, the same thing, IP SLA. And remember, on the exam, even though we're kind of like going and doing DNS request packets, G711 and changing the codec size and stuff like that, for the exam, you only got to do ICMP. So all this stuff is bonus right here, but we doing it anyway because, you know, we just trying to be more advanced, whatever it is. And plus, that's what Renee wanted us to do. He likes to challenge us. So IP SLA monitor, we're going to call this one monitor number 3. This is the step number 3. And then we're going to go to IP SLA monitor mode. And then we're going to say type, right? What type we said? We said G711, right? We don't see any G711 here. But we know it's a VoIP type of traffic. That's the next one we should go with, but we're not going to do that because I remember looking at this and it wasn't VoIP traffic. It's actually jitter. Yeah. So we're going to say type jitter. Destination IP address we said was 2.2.2.2, right? So we're going to do 2.2.2.2. The destination port was, as you can see, 16384. I'm going to do destination port and then type in 16384. What else we want to do here? He said they wanted the codec size of 160 bytes. So we're going to say codec. Well, actually, we're going to do the codec type first. So just codec. What type? He said G711. So you can pick A or U. You want to get more into this stuff right here. This, I believe, is quality of service or VoIP. You want to get in collaboration. That's what that is. And then what else they wanted us to do? We said the size. So codec size was 160 bytes. And then he wanted us to do the interval of 20 milliseconds. So we're going to say codec hyphen interval 20 milliseconds. And it should never stop. We'll do the forever part after the, you know, we got to get out of this mode, right? So we'll push enter there. Notice we are in SLA monitor jitter mode, configuration mode. From here, we could do frequency. It should never stop, right? So we say, and it's every, how many seconds he said? Interval, we already did that. So we don't need to worry about that. It should never stop. So basically we want to get into the schedule for this. So we get out of this and do IP SLA monitor. Which monitor? Schedule. This was schedule number for operation number 3. We said the life should be forever. Well, we want to do the start time first. Let's do start time now, life forever. Right? Because it should never stop is what he said right there. And he didn't say when he wanted us to start. So we're implying now. Step 4, configure router cucumber. We're going to cucumber right here, which is that guy at the top, for it to respond to the G711 packets. So he is going to be sending those G711 packets. We're going to set him up as a IP SLA responder. If you don't know what that is, I'll put it in the description below on what a responder is. Basically, he's going to be responding to the traffic. If you do, and I'll show you real quick, Pickle is going to be sending those packets, right? Pickle is going to be sending it to him. So let's check that configuration on step 3 real quick. So we'll go back to Pickle and do a show IP SLA monitor configuration, and it was configuration number 3. And if you notice right here, we have, it does say forever, right? That was configuration number 3, right? We said configuration number 3. The target address was .2, which is cucumber. We didn't specify a source address. We said the target port was 16384. That's the codec type. That's the size of the codec. This is how often we're going to send it. If you notice right here, it says there's nothing in here there should be something in here that tells you that nobody's responding to these. Oh, it's not under configuration. It'd be under statistics. So we're going to do show IP SLA monitor statistics, and then we put the entry number, which was 3. And this is where you're going to find it at. There it is. If you notice here, it says number of successes 0, number of failures 2. So we sent 2 IP SLA messages, but codec, the G711 packets, 2 of them, but they failed. Why? Because this guy's not responding. So we need to make Cucumber a responder. And that's what we're going to do here with step 4. So step 4 says to configure router Cucumber to respond to the G711 packet. So we're going to go to Cucumber, and we're going to go to global config mode, and we're going to say IP SLA. We're not going to say, we're going to say monitor, I guess. That's what it was, monitor. But we're going to say responder. He's going to monitor responder. This will enable IP SLA monitor responder. So we're saying responder here. The type of protocol, we ain't really got to do that. We're just going to say responder. We could specify which types of stuff, but we're just going to say responder. Now that we do that, we're going to go back to Pickle and see if he has any responding by doing the statistics again for step 3. We've got 3 failures. We'll check again later. We'll check real quick again because, see, they're going to be sent everything, I think, every 20, I forgot how many times with the frequency on this, but it may take a little bit before we see them again. Now we got a success. So now we got a success. And this is the statistics if you want to really get into this, but again, this is out of scope for the CCNP exam, this part right here. So we did step 4. Those are responding now. Step 5 just says to configure router Tomato, which is this guy right here, to send G729 packets to IP address 3.3.3, which I believe is Pickle or Lettuce. Let's see. Tomato is going to be sending G729 packets to Pickle on port 16374 with a codec size of 20 bytes, and it should never stop. So it's similar to what we just did, except we're using a different port number, different destination number, and we're sending G729 packets. Again, if you want to know more about this stuff, I'll probably leave a link in the description below if I got time. So let's go ahead and do Tomato and go to global config mode. We're going to say IP, same thing, SLA, monitor. We're going to say this is monitor number, what? This was step number 5. Now we're in IP SLA monitor mode, and we're going to say the type was, again, jitter. And we're going to say the destination IP address was 3.3.3.3. The destination port, we need to put the destination port and then type in 16374. He didn't really say what source, but he did specify the codec type. So he said the codec type was G729. So we just do codec, and then the type was G729. There's only one type right there, so G729. We'll do the codec size. The size was 20 bytes. He also specified, that was it. He didn't really specify the interval or anything. So we'll just hit enter here. Notice we're in SLA monitor jitter configuration mode. And from here, we could do the frequency and timeout. We'll set the timeout to be 0. We'll set the frequency to be, let's say if we do 8 for jitter. Well, I guess we could do 8. It should never stop. So we got to get out of this and say IP SLA monitor schedule, and it was for schedule for number 5. Start time will be now. The life will be forever. Start time and then life. So start time and then life, if you want to remember the syntax for this. And we could again check that with show IP SLA monitor configuration 5. And as you can see, start time past, life is forever. And if we do the same thing with show IP SLA monitor statistics, notice we've got 2 failures, 0 successes. Why? Because we don't have a responder, right? Right now he wants to configure router pickle, which is this guy right here, because remember we did tomato to send those G729 packets to test the SLA for it. But now we're going to set pickle to be the responder. Go into pickle, this guy right there, global config mode, IP SLA monitor responder. That's it. That was step 6. Last one, y'all. Step 7 says to configure. Actually, let's check that. Let's check that. Let's get out of this. Show IP SLA monitor. Do we have a responder here? Yes. We could check here. We've got it is enabled. Recent sources, none so far. We don't have any statistics on that. Although Tomato should be sending us some, right? Maybe because we didn't specify the source, not too sure. But again, don't worry about that. Don't get too hung up on this. Some of this stuff is really out of scope of the exam, in my opinion. Step 7 says the configure router lettuce, this guy right here, to send HTTP GET packets to IP address 34.4. So we're going to send HTTP GET packets to that IP address every 60 seconds. So we're going to go into lettuce, go to global config mode, IP SLA monitor 7, and then we're going to say type. What was the type? Y'all can see it right there, right? It's HTTP. Operation, a GET. You know what an HTTP GET is, right? Every time you click on a hyperlink, or every time you click or you type in something, and then the first thing it does is sends a HTTP GET request. So you're getting information from an HTTP server. That's what this is, right? So HTTP GET request. What's the URL? We're going to just say HTTP : let's say network.com. Nope, that ain't right. What do we need to do here? Maybe we got to type in URL, get URL, and then HTTP : network.com. What else we need to do here? We need to do a source. No, we didn't. Did he specify a source? Is that what he asked for? No, he just said to send it to that IP address. So we're going to say, let's say name server, and then the IP address 192.168.34.4. He did not specify anything else. He just said this frequency was every 60 seconds. So we leave that as is. We're going to say frequency was every 60 seconds. We're going to put the timeout at 0 so it does not time out. What else did he say? I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. We're going to exit out of that, and we're going to double check that with what? Show IP SLA configuration. We can verify it with that. Entry number 7 right there. Let me fix that for y'all. See, type of operation to perform is HTTP. The target address says quad 0, but we do have a URL, which was network.com. That don't look right. That don't look right. Our target address should be 192.168.34.4. So that ain't right. We need to fix that. We need to fix that. Let's see here. Let's go back to configuration mode. Config terminal IP SLA monitor 7. We said, hold up, we might need to do that one over again, because now we can't even put the IP address, because that didn't look right. This said the target address was quad 0, but we did have a HTTP GET to this address right here, network.com. Oh, you know why? Because we would have to set up DNS. we would have to set up like DNS, and we're not going to do that. That's kind of out of scope for this. We're just going to leave this as is. So that's the reason why we would have to have like maybe like a DNS server. So that way it resolves networkbro.com to that IP address, which was 192.168.34.4 every 60 seconds. And we're not going to set that up. If you can even check Renee's video solution for that, he doesn't even do that. So that is all I got for y'all today. That is my YouTube page. That is my Twitter handle. We are almost finished, y'all. We got about 4 more videos and we are done with this video series. I'd like to thank you guys for, following me in my journey. I'll let you guys know when I pass the exam, because I promise you I'm going to pass this exam. For now, go ahead and please leave a comment below. Share this video if you like my teaching style. And please hit the like button when you leave. For now, please comment, like, subscribe to the network.